Hi guys, this is Karyn Taylor and I work at the South Oklahoma City campus of Life Church, and I just want to share with you a little bit about John chapter 11. We're going to start the story with Lazarus, who is very ill, and his sisters Mary and Martha send a message to Jesus, and the message says, "Lord, the one you love is ill or is sick." And that's how they describe their brother to Jesus, the one you love. Jesus doesn't leave right away from where he's at, though. He waits a few days, and in fact, by the time he gets to the home of Lazarus and Mary and Martha, Lazarus has already been dead for a few days. And the sisters, both of them, greet him, and they actually both say the same thing to him. When they see him, they say, "Lord, if only you had been here, our brother would not have died." Mary even falls at Jesus' feet, and Jesus is greatly moved with compassion. In fact, the verse says that he was deeply moved in spirit and troubled. And that word troubled actually means that Jesus got a little angry. And you know, he didn't get angry at Mary and Martha. He got angry at death. He got angry because he knew and he saw the devastation that death had caused in their life, and how sad they were, and how they were mourning, and those that were with them were mourning and weeping. And it made Jesus angry at death. There's a verse that says, "Rejoice with those who rejoice and mourn with those who mourn." There's a verse in Romans like that. And that's what Jesus was beginning to feel. In fact, later when he asked them if they'll take him to the tomb where Lazarus was, the next verse says Jesus wept. He wept with them. He felt their pain and their sorrow. And I think the reason that these verses stand out so much to me is out of this chapter is because of what happened to me and my family just a couple of years ago. And I wanted to share a little bit about that with you. In 2008, we had so much to look forward to. My husband and I had been married 24 years, and we had 5 children. And our 3 oldest girls were actually my husband's from his previous marriage. But we had raised them together. He had custody of them, and we'd raised them together for 24 years. We also had 2 sons together. And that summer, both of our sons were graduating, one from high school, one from college. And then also our daughters, one of them was getting married that fall, and one of our sons was getting married that fall, and one of our daughters was also having her first child. So we had lots to look forward to. We were really excited about that summer and that fall. In June of that year, my mom went into the hospital to have some heart surgery, and we fully expected her to come out of that just feeling so much better, kind of having a new lease on life. But unfortunately, she had some major complications from the surgery, and she passed away. And this was a huge shock to our family. We were really devastated at losing my mom so suddenly. And if you've lost somebody suddenly in your life, you know what I'm talking about, that it's really hard to describe what that's like. And then just a few short weeks later, our daughter's mom passed away suddenly without any notice. She was much younger, and it was really devastating to our girls. And I've got to tell you, as a parent, if you're a parent, you know what I'm talking about. When your kids hurt, you hurt. You hurt with them just as much as if it were happening to you. And of course, I had just lost my mom just a few weeks prior to that, so I knew what it was like to lose your mom. And then just a few short weeks after that, my husband's mom passed away. She had battled a disease and finally succumbed to that. And so that summer, in 3 months, we lost 3 moms in our family. And I will tell you that it wasn't easy. It was hard. We suffered a lot. We wept a lot. We mourned a lot. But I will also tell you that it was the time in my life when I felt the greatest compassion and love of God than any other time. I truly felt that there were many times when nobody else really could understand how I felt, but Jesus could. I felt him wrap his arms around me. I felt him comfort me in a way that really no person could. And I know that several members of our family described the same thing. There is something that happens when you are, you have no control over a situation, and you just have to turn to him and say, "God, I don't know how I'm going to handle this, but I just need your help." And that's exactly what happened that summer. Even through the loss and devastation, I felt the compassion and the love and the care of God like I had never had before or since. Perhaps you've been through something like that. Perhaps it hasn't even been the loss of a family member or a friend. Maybe you've suffered a loss through divorce, or maybe through a rebellious child who's made some really bad decisions and you've really hurt through that, or maybe it's been financial or a job loss or something like that. and you felt God's compassion and care for you in a way that you never had before. I would encourage you just right below here to share a little bit about that. I think we get so much out of sharing with one another how God has ministered to us and how He's helped us through a difficult time. And I would encourage you to share just a little bit about that with us. You don't have to write your life story, just a little bit is fine. And I'm anxious to read what you guys write and what you have to say about that. I also would encourage you to continue reading John. I think this is incredible for so many of us to be doing this together. And of course, in John chapter 11, it's an incredible story of how Jesus goes to the tomb and He raises Lazarus from the dead. And there's incredible victory there. So don't miss that. I hope that you are getting as much out of this as I am, and I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. And I'll just end it by saying, whoever finds God finds life.